6-6, and UConn 10-3, winners of 5 straight. The Huskies in the home white, and they control the opening tip.
Some interesting changes by Temple for this game, too, Andrew, because as a coach, you have a bad game like that. Sometimes you say, I'm going to throw it out the window, but when you're this inconsistent, maybe a good time for a change to shake things up.
Fran Dunphy does just that, also factoring into his reason for Obi Anecchionia. He gets in a lot of foul trouble, and Dunphy thought maybe sitting him to start, bringing him off the bench will limit those early fouls.
I think it's also going to get him going because really he's been a little subpar from what they expected this season. You can expect UConn and Temple primarily man-to-man. You'll see a little bit of zone, especially from the Huskies, who threw it out against Texas 2 games ago. Don't do it much, but they're going to use it with Bryma out.
Brown from 3, and Temple's on the board first.
You know, that's a good sign for them because I think one of the issues for Temple has been their starting backcourt of Josh Brown and Devin Coleman are shooting like 30% from the field. That's not good. That's big for Josh Brown to make his first shot.
Comes after Daniel Hamilton, airball to 3 on UConn's first possession. Now Purvis drives and scores. And Temple turns it over. That's something you don't see very often. 8.8 turnovers per game. That's second fewest in the country.
And to throw one away like that, very tough.
Kevin Ollie in his 4th season as the UConn head coach. 43 years old. And he had a great line today. In January, you're not a freshman anymore. And he's got some freshmen that see big minutes in Jalen Adams and now Stephen Enoch. Not in there right now, but you will see them as Hamilton front rims that jumper and DeCozy clears. Good matchup there, DeCozy and Hamilton. Nowhere for DeCozy to go.
I think it's a good move with Dingle, too, because he's one of their most versatile guys. He's big, he's strong, yet he can put it on the floor, and he's one of their best passers.
Alston with 6 to shoot. His 3's off the mark, and Sean Miller with the rebound.
Temple doing a good job of getting back in transition. I've played a lot of games in this building, Andrew, and I can tell you one thing. You got to stop the transition because that's when this place gets crazy.
Purvis will help him get crazy, too, if he continues to heat up. He's got all 5 UConn points.
He's had an unbelievable season. This kid shooting 47% from 3, one of the best 3-point shooting percentages in the nation. Temple, defensively, they've been a little bit down, especially for Dunphy standards.
And Purvis, the reigning American Conference Player of the Week. He averaged 18 points per game in 2 games last week. Both wins for UConn, an impressive road trip. Victories at Texas and Tulane. DeCozy can't finish. Bond saves it. Now it's out of bounds. And it's UConn basketball.
Well, you're going to see this 3 here by Purvis. A good inside-out pass, and really not close enough to a guy who's shooting 47% from the 3-point line. Really, UConn doesn't have much of an inside score, so no reason to cheat inside when the ball goes in there. You got to stay on the 3-point shooters. They're 38% as a team from the 3-point line. Got to close out on those shooters.
Purvis trying to squeeze one in, and a turnover by the Huskies.
Good job that time by Temple with the good help defense, seeing the ball and closing up that gap very quickly.
Here's DeCozy, guarded by Hamilton. DeCozy shoots, too strong. Ball tipped up in the air. Bond comes away with it. And now we have a jump ball, and the possession arrow favors Temple. Tonight's officials, Ray Natili, Jeff Anderson, and Ron Groover.
And you know, Andrew, one of the reasons why DeCozy's so dangerous, because you see how he shoots the ball way over his head. He can get that shot off anytime he wants. When he's making it, he's really hard to guard.
Alston catch and shoot. Temple's gone 3 minutes and 20 seconds without scoring. That one out of bounds. It will be UConn basketball when we come back. Purvis has all 5 for the Huskies. They lead it 5-3. Huskies when Brima is healthy.
You have to look at the silver lining. Brima has really improved a lot. Kevin Ollie has done a great job with this program, taking over from a guy who was a legend, won 3 NCAA championships. Very tough to follow, but he did pretty good in his first year, winning one right away.
And not too bad.
Not bad.
And Brima has been cleared to start running, which is another good sign. We saw him running up and down the stairs here at the XL Center during morning shoot-around. That one's poked out of bounds. It's going to go to UConn with 15:30 to go first half. What it really does with Brima being sidelined, as Jamie highlighted, changes UConn's defense. They like to force a lot of things in the middle, try to have Brima block the shots. They've had to try to reinvent themselves a little bit, defensively at least, without Brima. Well,
UConn's been one of the top shot blocking teams in America, so having a kid like this and not playing is a big difference for your defense, especially man-to-man. That's why Kevin Ollie broke out the zone 2 games ago against Texas for the first time. Started the game in the zone, which was really a surprise.
Here's Purvis for 3 more. You bet. Rodney Purvis red hot to start this one.
I mean, that's really an example of bad defense right there. And the guy you got to look out for more than anything else, you got to always be careful of where the inbounder is. Rodney Purvis is takes the ball out of bounds. You got to find it.
UConn in transition. It's Hamilton. Purvis is 3 for 3. The rest of the Huskies 0 for 3. Until now, Sterling Gibbs connects from deep. Gibbs shot 43% from deep last year when he was with Seton Hall. 36% from deep so far for UConn. But he's starting to come on and count that basket.
Well, he's a terrific get. The experience of Sterling Gibbs, started out at Texas, went to Seton Hall, had a great year. Actually, through half the year last year, may have been the player of the year in the Big East Conference. Then Seton Hall imploded. And I don't know what happened in terms of him staying, going, whatever, but he was a really good player for the first half of the year last year.
Josh Brown's bucket stops an 11-0 run by UConn, and now Brown at the line to shoot one more. 11-6 with 14:31 to go first half. Brown has all 6 points for the Owls. Purvis with 8 for UConn. Hamilton inside. Off glass, no. And it's Bond with the board. Bond with a little muscle down low. Can't finish in close, out of bounds to UConn.
Here's what happens on this play. People forget about the inbounder so much. And look at Rodney Purvis. Josh Brown's on Rodney Purvis right here. So the ball comes in bounds, and look at Josh Brown. That's a mistake. Why bother with him? He's a 4-point scorer. Now that little move that Purvis put towards the lane lost Josh Brown, and he ends up with an open 3. That's not good scouting report defense. Fran Dumpy talked about how this guy's one of the best 3-point shooters in the country. Why mess around with Facey, who's averaging 4 points a game?
Eight to shoot for Gibbs. Puts it on the floor. Goes to the hoop. Short with the shot. Miller cleans it up inside.
Kevin Ollie has really taken advantage of the graduate transfer rule. Sean Miller and Sterling Gibbs, 2 great fifth-year guys to have on your team.
Yeah, Kevin Ollie made the point. That's part of recruiting now. It is finding out who is eligible for the grad transfer.
Andrew, when I was coaching, the most important day was in November because everybody signed early. Now it's become one of the most important days, May 15th, of a guy's senior year. That is out. Because now you're not getting guys that you think are good. You're getting guys that you know are good because they played in college for 3 years already. That's an important guy.
Facey blocked with that shot. We said Gibbs, the grad transfer from Seton Hall. Sean Miller, 3 great years at Cornell. Had an extra year of eligibility. Ivy League, you can't play if you've graduated. You can't have that extra year, so he came to UConn. As Bond with the long-range 2.
That's a bonus for Bond to score. I mean, Bond, you know, he's shooting 45% from the field, but for an inside player, that's not great. You want him to be around 55, you're shooting 45, but that was a good shot there.
It's an offensive foul called against Sterling Gibbs.
And this is what Sean Miller does that they love. This is the kind of kid, he's very opportunistic. He does a lot of good things around the basket. Played at Cornell, was a very good player there for 3 years. But for him, it's a little different. The Ivy League, there's no red shirts. So he had no choice but to leave. He'd already graduated. A little different with Sterling Gibbs.
Third different school for Gibbs. He started his career at Texas. Bond kicks it out to Brown. He puts up a shot, and that one from three is no good. Tipped up and around and poked out to Bond, who goes to the hoop, and he's fouled.
Bond is a big, strong guy. Another guy who started at Texas and has done a great job for Fran Dunphy playing inside. Just sometimes shoots the ball from the perimeter. He's basically an inside guy, and that's where he needs to stay. Tremendous rebounder, was one of the best in the American Conference last year.
2 years at Texas, and Fran Dunphy told us this afternoon at practice he doesn't want Bond to focus on scoring. He said he doesn't need 15 points, he needs 15 rebounds. That's what they need out of Jalen Bond on this team.
And that's something that he's capable of doing.
He's 2 for 17 shooting threes. I think Fran Dunphy will be happy if he didn't shoot another one the rest of the year.
Quite possible.
Purvis's three won't go down. Here's Brown in transition one-on-one with Gibbs. Figaro, no, but Bond throws it down.
Great job by Bond running the floor and not assuming that Josh Brown was going to make that basket there.
4 points, 4 rebounds for Jalen Bond. It's a 1-point game. Here's the freshman Enoch. Turns around, left-handed hook, won't go, tipped out, and it's Gibbs who resets.
I haven't seen a lot from Enoch. That was a big-time move. Even though he missed, I loved what I saw there from the big kid.
Good defense by Brown. He got a hand on that one, and then it was last touched by UConn. It will be Temple basketball when we come back.
Well, Temple needs to try and get some opportunities to baskets, and that's what Jalen Bond does, following that one up. The Owls hanging in there, down one, by turning the ball over much more than Temple will, because Temple won't turn it over much.
Second fewest in the country, just 8.8 turnovers per game for the Owls. And you asked Fran Dunphy today, well, what's the secret? He said, he didn't really have a secret formula.
Yeah,
he didn't want to reveal it either.
Yeah, I think it goes with the uniform, because John Chaney's teams never turned it over either. So maybe it's something about Temple, period, where they don't turn the ball over. But nobody will give me that secret.
Owls rolling right now, a 9-0 run after that last bucket, and they have the lead 15-13. Meanwhile, UConn on a scoring drought, approaching 3 minutes. There's Coleman in and out. And Calhoun chases down the loose ball in front of the UConn bench. Here come the UConn fans trying to cheer the Huskies on. They've missed 4 consecutive shots. Purvis cuts to the hoop, trying to get it back to a cutting Enoch and turns it over. Here comes Inechionya to the hoop. No, offensive rebound to Cozy, back up with it. He can't finish. And Enoch muscles his way for the board. Up ahead to Purvis, and a great play from behind by Brown.
Great hustle by Josh Brown there. But I'd like to see Inechionya finish that a little stronger in transition. You're going to see here, Rodney Purvis going to the basket. Just great hustle by Josh Brown, getting back and getting a hand on that.
Brown, the junior from Newark, New Jersey, played at St. Anthony's. Now in his junior season for Fran Dunphy. Miller. And the foul. Off the inbound, Sean Miller found some space, and now he'll go to the line. And that's the problem lately with Inechionya. That's why he didn't start today. The fouls continue to add up for this sophomore. He only played 5 minutes in the first half on Saturday against Houston and 18 minutes for the game.
Yeah, he's not really getting involved in the game like he should be getting involved in it. A lot of it's because of the foul.
Cozy baseline, and Echionia, he can score. If he stays out of foul trouble, he's dangerous.
He's 6'9", but he's a face-the-basket player. His best part of his game is shooting, and in particular, he's a very good three-point shooter.
40% on the season from deep. That's 7th in the American Conference. Miller, turnaround jumper from 12 feet is good.
You know, I talked to Glenn Miller, the associate head coach, who was the head coach at Brown. I've known him for many years, and he told me that Kevin Ollie wants to get Sean Miller some more touches in some different places. That was a very, very good move by Miller.
Cozy off the glass, and he scores. He's got 5 points now for Temple. Inside Enoch, and that's going to be goaltending.
I like the footwork, though. He didn't go out of bounds, and that's definitely goaltending.
Already 7 lead changes in the first half. UConn now a 1-point lead with 8.5 to go. Here's Coleman, wild shot. Off the glass, and Enoch with another rebound.
Yeah, I mean, when you're struggling to score like Coleman has been struggling, you don't need to take shots like that.
Hamilton's shot won't go down. Miller, the offensive rebound, puts it right back up. It won't go, and Coleman clears. Fans wanted a carry there by Coleman at midcourt. They don't get it. Coleman still has it. And he is slotted by Miller. Big block by Sean Miller.
I'd like to see Coleman just slow down a little bit. They're lucky they still have that ball.
Well, Miller, in addition to being a good rebounder, is a good defender. He adds that piece to this UConn team that they're going to need come stretch time down the course of the season.
A lot of versatile defenders, Andrew. Guys that can guard multiple positions. Really, except for Enoch, everybody else can guard a couple of different guys. The team they have in now, very versatile defensive.
Here's Trey Lowe, the freshman from deep. And another rebound from Miller. His 4th. Hamilton is fouled. Been a slow start for Hamilton. He's 0-4 and has not scored. But UConn still up by 1 with 7:38 to go in the first half. On the road over a ranked opponent since 2000, when ironically they also beat Cincinnati, who was also #1 in the country at that time.
Well, this guy's one of the top coaches in America, and everybody looks up to him. He's that kind of guy. He's been that kind of coach in his career at Penn, what he's done at Temple. I mean, look who he followed at Temple. You think that's easy to follow a guy like John Chaney? And look, what did Kevin Ollie tell us today? I wish I could have his demeanor and his golf swing. I wish I had his golf swing too, believe me. I have a better chance of inheriting his demeanor. And you see me, there's no way I can inherit his demeanor. That's how bad my golf swing is.
I haven't heard many people say they want your golf swing.
And you know what? No, you won't hear that. But what he does in the community, besides being the tremendous basketball coach that he is, what he's done in the community with Coaches versus Cancer, he's just an incredible guy, a leader in Philadelphia, not just in the sports.
And we asked him, hey, what is number 200 at Temple? If you get this win tonight, it's number 200. What does that mean to you? And he had this blank stare. He didn't even know.
That's it.
He doesn't know. He just wanted to win the game. That's what he said.
But he's not like that when you want him to give you a putt, believe me.
Miller's in double figures now with 10 for UConn, as Dingle cannot get that one to go, and Hamilton pushes it up ahead. Open is Gibbs, and his 3 won't go. Rebound to Lowe.
That's an example of where Hamilton can be so dangerous. Now, he's not playing a good game right now. He hasn't been able to score. But he can, when he gets a defensive rebound, he's 9th in the nation in defensive rebound. He can lead a break. Sterling Gibbs, that was a good shot for him.
Alston showing some toughness inside, and he is fouled. Levan Sean Alston, the freshman out of Philadelphia, getting the start today. And now he'll go to the line where he's 4 out of 6 on the season. His father, Levan, played for Temple in the mid-90s and was his high school coach. Never miss a moment of college basketball with the CBS Sports app. Every play, every score, every game, and every highlight right as they happen. Download the CBS Sports app now. Temple's gone cold now. A scoring drop of 2.5 minutes, and they've missed 5 consecutive field goals. And Alston comes up empty at the free throw line.
And they've been inconsistent in terms of scoring the ball. I mean, they're only shooting 40% as a team, so they've had their droughts, and that's when they've had a problem. Against against Cincinnati, they were much more consistent, played great in the last 5 minutes, and that's why they came away with a nice win.
Hamilton behind the back, but he's now 0 for 5. He was looking for a foul on that play, no call. Temple up ahead the other way. Low for 3. And Facey with the rebound for UConn. Here's the freshman Adams. Back out Miller. And Miller's got a dozen.
Boy, that was a great pass. I don't know how Adams saw Miller.
Miller 5 for 8 from the floor for 12 points. He also has 4 rebounds. And now UConn on a 7-0 run. Coleman ends that run. A deep 3. Well, Frank Dunphy decided to have Coleman come off the bench tonight and said he's just a bit streaky, and maybe this will help get him in a groove, give him a little more to focus on coming off the bench. And Coleman paying it back there with the 3. He's got 5 points.
I had their first game against North Carolina, and he was on fire.
Facey is blocked. What a play. That was Ernest Aflakpi, playing in just his 6th game of the season with the block. Now he's got the ball on the offensive end, and he's fouled.
They like Aflakpi. Now, this is a kid from Archbishop Carroll High School in the Philadelphia area who was hurt really most of last year. But this kid is a freshman. He's very tough. He's very physical. Brandon Dunphy told me, as a matter of fact, he's the kind of guy who gets everybody mad at him in practice because he plays so hard, and he's aggressive.
Second foul on Daniel Hamilton. And Aflakpi 2 of 3 at the line on the year. Now 3 out of 4.
He gets everybody mad except the coach, that is, because coaches love to see guys play hard and play aggressive.
Native of Ghana, as you said, played at Archbishop Carroll, but only played 3 games last year in high school because of a knee injury. You see that big brace he's got on his right knee. Just his 6th game of the season. He goes 2 of 2 at the line, and in the process ties his career high, which is 2 points. Jalen Bond back in with 4:40 to go, but some nice minutes off the bench there for Aflakpi. (25-24). UConn up by 1. They've won 5 straight games in 6 of their last 7. Coming off an impressive road trip with wins at Texas and Tulane. Kevin Ollie told us this morning that Texas win will look real good for the RPI come tournament time.
When you get one of those road wins like that, it definitely is going to help. They had a rough trip to the Bahamas, which kind of hurt them. Losing that game to Syracuse really hurt them.
Lost to Gonzaga as well. 3 of their bigger wins this year: Michigan, Ohio State, and Texas.
Look at the hard schedule they've played, too. And you know what? Unfortunately, Ohio State not having a great year. Texas not having a great year. So those games where you think they'd be great RPI wins have turned into okay wins. You never can tell how it's going to work out. You schedule Ohio State and Texas, you figure these will be great wins. And they're not great, unfortunately. They're good, no doubt about it.
They have one more non-conference game. That's against Georgetown, who's been struggling this season.
There's another one that won't be worth what you would thought it would be worth.
Sure. Adams, corner 3. Facey the offensive board. Trying to go back up with it, and it's taken away by Coleman. Scooped up by Brown. Brown with the left hand, and he's fouled. 3:28 to go, first half. A seesaw first between Temple and UConn. 2 fouls, and Daniel Hamilton also has 2 fouls for UConn. He's on the bench as well, and Hamilton still scoreless. He's 0 for 5. Brown at the line, and he misses the first.
I will say this about Temple that's going to make Fran Dunphy happy. His guys definitely came out with a great effort tonight. Now, I don't know what's going to happen in the second half, but they came out ready to play, and considering how bad that loss was to Houston at home, who's very good, by the way, I think it's a great sign for Dump that his guys came out to play like this.
And nobody saw that Houston game coming as well as Houston has played this year. Temple coming off the win at Cincinnati. They come home and lose by 27. Just their third 20-point or more home loss in Fran Dunphy's 10 years.
Well, I was going to say, I've never seen Dump's team get it like that. Never.
Sam Cassell Jr. has checked in for UConn. He hasn't played in 4 of the last 5 games. Coach's decision. Gibbs with the shot clock winding down. 3 won't go. And Coleman with the rebound.
UConn is searching right now. They're usually a much better offensive team than this.
Dingle kicks out Brown. He feeds Bond. Bond draws the double. Now Dingle for 3. And Adams chases it down, pushes up ahead. The speed of Adams to the hoop. Can't finish. UConn very high on the freshman Jalen Adams of Roxbury, Massachusetts. Same hometown as former UConn great Shabazz Napier. UConn's missed 5 straight shots, and they're just 1 of their last 8 from the floor. Deep 3, DeCozy splash.
He'll take a shot that you'll say, what's he doing? And it'll go in the basket because he's a good player, and he's got really carte blanche.
Temple on a 9-0 run. Gibbs trying to stop it, and he's fouled on the shot with 1:46 to go.
Now, DeCozy is a very good three-point shooter, but really, even though he's really deep, you've got to be out there sooner. You know he's their leading scorer, and this is Division I. And in Division I, people can make shots from there. That was not good defense by UConn.
Gibbs at the line for 2. He's 82% on the year. That's 8th in the conference. Coming up on AT&T at the half, Brent Stover, Gary Parrish, John Rothstein, and Brendan Haywood will break down all the college hoops action from our New York studio. It's all coming up on AT&T at the half. Gibbs 2 of 2. Gibbs had 16 points in the win Saturday at Tulane. 13 of the 16 in the final 6.5 minutes. He really took control of that game in the second half.
DeCozy's got Jalen Adams on. He wants to take him. He's a lot bigger.
Backing him down. A good defense by Adams. DeCozy gets it back. Over to Williams, left open for 3. Enoch, the rebound.
UConn, good defense that time, helping on DeCozy and leaving Williams alone. That's the smart move. 3rd board for Enoch, who takes that jumper.
And UConn still cold from the floor.
Yeah, I don't think Kevin Ollie liked that shot in particular.
2 of their last 12 shooting as we're inside 1 minute to play in the first. And Brown is fouled on the perimeter by Jalen Adams. That's the 7th foul against UConn. So Temple will shoot 1 and 1.
A little too aggressive there. Not a good foul in that situation. Guarding a guy really who is not a big scorer in Josh Brown, who struggled to shoot the ball. Not a good foul.
Brown a good free throw shooter though, 83%, which is 7th in the American Conference. So far tonight, he's got 7 points. Make it 8. Brown in his first 2 years made 4 starts for Fran Dunphy. This season, he started every single game now in his junior year. And Fran Dunphy calls timeout with 45 seconds remaining.
YouTube sensation Judson Lively.
Quentin DeCozy, the leading scorer for Temple. We told you at the top of the broadcast they need him to have a big game, and early on DeCozy with 8 points.
Well, you know, he's had a big game against a lot of big-time teams during the course of his career. A lot of upsets under Fran Dunphy. So this is a kid that's not afraid to do it. His effort this year has been much better. His career has been a little up and down for a guy with his talent. This year more consistent. Did not play a good game against Houston, but no one did. So you really can't blame him for that one. But if they're going to turn this around and become a more consistent team, he's got to lead the way, and he's done a better job being a leader.
In that win over Cincinnati last week on the road, Bearcats ranked 22nd at the time. DeCozy had 19 points, and he's averaging just under 15 per game.
Little three-quarter court pressure here by Temple. Make UConn use some time, man. Almost forced a turnover.
DeCozy got a hand on that one. Miller recovers. Now Cassell for 3. And Bond the rebound. Shot clock turned off. And Temple can hold for the final shot. This season, when leading at the half, Temple is 6-0. All 6 of their wins.
Well, you have to say they came out with a great game plan. UConn goes to a zone now right in the middle of the possession. That's a good move by Kevin Ollie.
5 seconds left. Brown inside. Won't go, and there's a whistle. And that's a foul going against UConn with 3.5 seconds left. Wow. It's going to be on Omar Calhoun.
Yeah, that's a foul. There's no question. That is a good call. I mean, he put 2 hands in his back to try to get that rebound. That's a good call. You know, a lot of times when you're a coach, you sit there and say, you got to call that with 3 seconds to go. Yes, you have to call that.
So it's a 1-and-1. Bond at the line. Can't make it. Enoch the rebound. 2 seconds left. Miller tips it up, and neither team will get off a shot. That will do it to close out the first half. A lot of seesaw action. But UConn really struggled late in that half. No field goals in the final 5 minutes and 39 seconds. And at the half, Temple a 3-point lead. Jamie Erdahl with Fran Dunphy.
Coach, you make a change in your starting rotation. Did that provide the spark that you needed offensively?
I'm not so sure it did, to be honest with you, Jamie. You know, we tried to give it a different look. I thought Austin and Dan did a pretty good job, but we need Obi and Devin Coleman. I thought Devin Coleman sitting on the bench came in and gave us a nice lift.
You've held Purvis and Miller to 20 points, the rest of UConn to just 7 points. How do you feel defensively?
Well, Miller made a couple really tough baskets on us. You know, we had to be much more alert than we were, and we gave up a couple threes that we just can't give up. So our defense overall is okay, just given the numbers, but our offense is nowhere.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks.
Miller leads all scorers with 12, but Fran Dunphy's team leads 30-27. Stay tuned. Coming up, it's AT&T at the half. You're watching college basketball on CBS Sports Network.
First half.
Based on what Jamie just said, I agree with you. It sounds like Kevin Ollie may have had a few words in that locker room here at the XL Center.
Yeah, I'll be very interested to see how Daniel Hamilton responds in the first 5 minutes here.
Purvis misfires with the first shot of the half, but there's a foul against Temple on the rebound. That's going to go against Jalen Bond. That's his first.
First personal on Steve Hamilton.
And now Hamilton, who in that first half was 0 for 5 to inbound to Miller. Miller attacks, and he's got 14 points.
Well, this kid definitely came to play, and he's a tough matchup because he can put the ball on the floor and do a lot of things out of the 4 spot.
And Echionia had 2 fouls in that first half, but he does start on the floor in the second half. DeCozy is blocked, looking for a foul, no call. Hamilton in transition, coast to coast, and he still can't buy a bucket.
Interesting that Fran Dunphy went back to his regular starters here in the second half.
Coleman and Inechionia, who did not start the game, both in there to begin the second with 7 on the shot clock. Bond, Jalen Bond from deep. He was 2 for 17 on the season before knocking down that triple.
If Dunph wasn't sitting there saying, no, great shot, I don't know who was.
A 4-point Temple lead. UConn, meanwhile, has missed 6 straight three-pointers. Gibbs fakes the 3, out to Purvis, deep 3. Make it 7 for the Huskies now that they've failed from deep.
I know Kevin Ollie knows his team much better than me, but I'm a bigger fan of Daniel Hamilton playing the 4 spot than the 3 spot. Right now, he's the 3-man because Facey and Sean Miller are the 4 and 5.
Coleman's 2 is no good. Facey, the rebound.
I think he's so versatile and becomes a much harder guy to guard if a 4-man is guarding him as opposed to a Quentin DeCozy.
Gibbs, that shot won't go, and flying in for the board is DeCozy. Quick shot by Inechionia is no good. Hamilton pushes ahead to Purvis. Purvis had it stripped, no call. Good defense by Temple. Here comes Brown the other way to Coleman from deep. It's good. Devin Coleman, timeout, UConn.
Well, right now, that defense is creating a lot of offense for Temple. They're running the floor. UConn not getting back in transition and finding a guy. Sterling Gibbs, Sean Miller. These guys have all played a lot of basketball. Should not happen.
So Gibbs sets up the UConn offense.
And now Fran Dunphy with the change after the timeout, going to a zone. He's not a zone guy, but he's pushing the buttons right now.
There's 5 on the shot clock. Purvis throws one up off the front of the rim, and Bond the rebound. That seemed to confuse UConn.
Absolutely, you took the words out of my mouth. They were very confused on that possession. That was a terrible shot. And you know what? It's a good move to go zone because they're not making a shot right now. Test them a little bit more.
Bond draws the double team. Back out Coleman. He's got 2 threes. Doesn't take this one. It's DeCozy trying to use the glass, and he can't get it to go.
I think UConn's got to pick the pace of this game up.
Gibbs wide open in the corner is Purvis, and he knocks it down. Big shot for UConn.
Devin Coleman was nowhere in the same area code with a 47% three-point shooter. You got to know where.
Purvis has 11 points. He's now scored in double figures in 20 straight games, dating back to last season. Inside 10 on the shot clock for Temple. DeCozy at the free throw line. Doesn't get the roll. Bond is called for the foul. Well, maybe that Purvis 3 woke up UConn a bit. They trail by 4 with 15:51 to go. Alone in the first half as well. They've got to be mindful. Purvis 3rd in the conference shooting threes, and you saw that graphic. He's been the majority of UConn's three-point shooting today. That goes out of bounds, and it will be Temple ball. Purvis and Miller combined to shoot 10 of 19 from the floor. The rest of UConn is 2 for 19.
Yeah, I mean, Sterling Gibbs has been disappointing, but Daniel Hamilton.
0 for 6 for Hamilton and still scoreless. DeCozy goes right past Hamilton, but he stepped on the line out of bounds.
It's interesting that 2 of Temple's turnovers right so far have been completely unforced. The one right in the beginning of the game where the ball just went out of bounds, and that one there.
Kevin Ollie knew this morning when we spoke with him that Temple would bring its A game. He has a lot of respect for Fran Dunphy and the way he prepares his team. And he also said they lost by 27 on Saturday. A wounded animal is dangerous. And Temple has completely done a 180 from Saturday's performance.
And Andrew, well-coached teams don't usually throw up 2 clinkers in a row.
Purvis is called for that foul, and that's his 3rd.
Yeah, that's pretty easy.
Let's check in with Jamie Erdahl.
Well, after speaking with Glenn Miller, again, the Huskies must be careful. Fran Dunphy just came out of the huddle and preached second chance opportunities on the offensive board. And that's something that Glenn Miller was scared of. He wanted this team, for UConn, to rebound strong. So they better be careful because Temple's coming in the paint.
8 offensive boards tonight for Temple, and a foul goes against the Huskies, which the fans here in Hartford don't like.
Yeah, I thought this was a good call here. First of all, Sterling Gibbs being very aggressive. A lot of hands there.
.45 to go, and what a move there.
Not starting Devin Coleman. Definitely lit the fire for him.
Temple's lead back up to 6. Hamilton trying to get on the board, and he traveled. Not Daniel Hamilton's night, at least to this point.
And you're going to see Devin Coleman here with a nice finish. Not great defense giving up that baseline, though.
UConn, after that travel, now has 10 turnovers. Just 4 for Temple.
And we talked about that before the game started in terms of the differentials important. UConn cannot turn it over that much more than Temple and give that many extra possessions.
Brown goes around a screen with 8 on the shot clock. To Cozy with 4 to shoot. And Echionia from deep. Doesn't catch the rim, and that's a shot clock violation. Substitution for UConn. Facey comes out, and the freshman Stephen Enoch back in.
And Echionia has not brought it tonight either, though.
Just 2 points for the sophomore. He averages 10 per game. Here's Hamilton. Trying to get something going. And Hamilton now 0 for 7.
And the big thing about Hamilton, Andrew's got only 1 assist in the game also.
Bond long 2, and this crowd is quiet at the XL Center. Temple's come to play.
Is Jalen Bond kidding me? I mean, I know it wasn't a 3, but that was no 8-footer either.
Bond is 4 for 5. He's got 9 points and 9 rebounds.
See, one of the problems right now for UConn is the perimeter guys are not playing well. They don't really have anybody to go to inside to kind of get them off the schneid, but that'll help.
Adams in the foul. They have high hopes for freshman Jalen Adams, and that's a big bucket with UConn struggling.
Yeah, I mean, this is a good move. He drives to the middle of the floor. Obi doesn't really give a lot of help. He's guarding Sean Miller, who's not a three-point shooter. So Obi in that situation has to get in there, move his feet, and make him kick the ball.
Foul was on to Cozy. Free throw by Adams is good. 40-35 with 12:50 to go. Cozy gets rid of it to Bond.
UConn trying to turn up the heat.
And an offensive foul is called on Josh Brown.
On that possession, UConn turned up the defensive pressure significantly. That's a good play. by Sean Miller.
Second foul on Brown. UConn with the ball back and some momentum here with the crowd starting to come to life a little bit. Hamilton, fadeaway jumper, still can't get on the board.
That was great defense by Jalen Bonds, staying in his stance and moving his feet.
Temple in transition to Cozy, off glass and good. Big answer by the Owls. Adams, and he is fouled on the drive. Clock is stopped with 11:49 to go.
We talked a lot about Quentin DeCozy. This kid is really tough, and you get him in transition. As long and as athletic as he is, he will get something done for you.
From the floor shooting tonight, just 31%.
One of the top 40 offensive teams in the country. Shooting the ball from 3, 38%. Shooting the ball over 50 from the general field goal percentage. And they have just been locked up by a Temple team whose defense this year has been a little inconsistent, to say the least.
What's your general take on teams during the winter break when school's out, they don't have classes? What did you notice about some of your teams,
You
if
know,
anything?
I always thought it was a great time of year because you had them all the time. You didn't have to worry about the rules in terms of how long you keep them because there's no academic responsibilities. I loved this time of year. These 3 weeks in January or whenever school starts, I thought were the best time of the year, where they didn't worry about academics, just basketball.
DeCozy doesn't get the roll. That nearly went down. Instead, he'll go to the line.
Now, on the other hand, UConn's out of school. They don't have the students here, so it probably hurts the vibe in the crowd a little bit, even though they have a great crowd tonight.
DeCozy, an excellent free throw shooter, 5th in the conference at 86%, and he misses.
You didn't even get it out of your mouth.
That was not my fault. You cannot blame me. Ball was in the air.
That one was not even close.
Misses them both. Wow. And Temple, they end up losing this game. They're going to look back at the line where they're 6 of 14 tonight.
And they're one of the top free throw shooting teams in the nation, top 30.
28th in the country at 74%, and here comes UConn. Jalen Adams with 2 more.
You know, Jalen Adams now starting to beat Temple off the dribble. That's one thing that no one was doing throughout most of this game. All of a sudden, Adams getting in the lane.
We got a 1-possession game, 11 minutes to go in Hartford. Coleman on the perimeter, guarded by Adams. Coleman, baseline, tough shot. Devin Coleman, he's got a dozen now for Temple.
He's been really, really tough in this game. I mean, he came out shaky, I thought, in his first stint in the first half, but he's been very, very tough since.
Gibbs took over down the stretch Saturday at Tulane. UConn looking for a repeat performance of that. Gibbs to Hamilton. Calhoun, the offensive board, and the putback. Great play by Omar Calhoun. That's his first bucket of the night. UConn with 9 second chance points. And the crowd is on its feet.
And this all started with those 2 missed free throws by DeCozy.
DeCozy, wow. What a strong move.
That was a big time. That was a pro move.
Hamilton. Nice pass to Miller. And the foul. Oh, it's Miller time in Hartford.
How athletic was that? It was a terrific pass by Hamilton there, but what a finish by Sean Miller. I didn't know he had that in him, and I've watched him a lot.
Miller has 16 points. That's the third foul on Josh Brown. Miller misses the free throw. It's still a 3-point game. And that got everyone out of their chair here at the XL Center. Temple with 16 fouls. UConn shooting the rest of the way. And Coleman is fouled. That's going to go against Philip Nolan.
Very aggressive move there. They have a dribble handoff, and he does a good job of splitting this double team to the point where he's going to draw the foul.
Dingle thought about a three. Now drives. Back out Brown. And there is a whistle. Didn't hear it initially. Play continued. And now they're calling an offensive foul on Daniel Dingle.
I think that was a bad call. I thought it should have been a no call. I mean, you'll see it here. Yeah, that's a no. Everybody's moving. That should be nothing.
Instead, Dingle called for the foul, and it's UConn ball. A three would tie the game. Chance of let's go Huskies.
Yeah, UConn doesn't really know what they're in. They thought they were in zone, but they are man-to-man.
Hamilton still trying to get on the scoreboard, and he does. After missing his first 9 shots, Daniel Hamilton finally connects.
And that was a tough shot. I think Jacozzi played very good defense there.
And a bump in the corner against Philip Nolan. That's his second.
Well, you're going to see Quentin Jacozzi really doing a good job on Hamilton. He makes him make a tough shot. Well contested.
Averaging 13.5 points per game, his first bucket tonight. See what he does down the stretch. Jump ball, possession arrow favors the Owls. .807 to go. UConn trying to extend its winning streak to 6 straight games. And a 5-second violation. Turnover number 8 by Fran Dunphy's squad.
I got to be honest with you. I thought that was one of those 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 5. That's what I thought it was. I got to be honest with you. I mean, I thought that was a little quick. You're supposed to keep the same cadence, I think. 5 seconds is 5 seconds. And you don't see Fran Dunphy get upset that often with the officials.
He's a little hot.
He's hot. I don't blame him.
5 turnovers this half for Temple.
That's a foul on Jalen Bond.
And it's called. 7:58 to go. We've got a 1-point game here on CBS Sports Network.
As I said, and by the way, UConn and Temple both have tremendous staffs. These staffs, I mean, you got Carl Hobbs, who's the head coach at GW. Then you've got Glenn Miller, the head coach at Brown. Then you got Dave Duke for Temple, who was the head coach at Lehigh. You know, with Sean Trice, who's been around forever. Aaron McKee, played in the pros. Dwayne Killings, who played for me at UMass for a year. So, I mean, these are really good staffs. These guys know how to get kids ready.
The 9th lead change of the game. UConn back in front by 1. 7:50 to go in the second half. Good one here in the American Conference.
And here's the zone coming out now for UConn. You got to get the ball right there to Bond.
It goes off Hamilton's leg out of bounds. Let's check in with Jamie Erdahl.
Well, Coach, you just talked about players coming to Kevin Ollie to get their masters in basketball. I feel like I'm getting one when I'm in the huddle. All business-like out of Coach Ollie, but really in that last possession, he was emphasizing help defense, and he is trying to place people emphatically from the sideline.
Jacozzi from Bridgeport knocks it down. Wow, the range for DeCozy and Temple back in front.
You know, when your guy, your senior, your leader is playing well, makes a big difference. DeCozy took it upon himself to just take that.
Adams trying to answer short. And the rebound to Brown. Thought about pushing it, and now will slow things down.
And UConn gets out of the zone and back man to man. That's what a good three-point shot will do to you. Make you change your defense back.
Inside 7 minutes to go. Brown from the free throw line. That won't go. Rebound is fought for, and Brown to the ground. Trying to call a timeout, and it's granted. Brown getting down, and it'll be Temple basketball.
And that was a good timeout because that was going to be UConn's ball there. So good job by getting that quick possession and calling timeout.
Check out tonight's Power Station. John Miller with a stop.
This is just about hustle. You'll see right there.
Thank you, Power Station.
And you know the coaches can't call timeout anymore, so it's got to come from the floor.
Meanwhile, Quentin DeCozy showing off his range. Look how deep he is on this three.
I mean, Jalen Adams is a 6'2 guard, and he just shot over him. He kind of had his hand halfway down. I think DeCozy's a guy you got to stop. Because if they're going to get this thing done on the road, he's, as we talked about in the open, he's going to have a lot to do with it.
Last meeting between these teams in March 2015, DeCozy had 15 points in a win. He's got 15 points tonight. His team by 2. DeCozy calling for a screen.
There's an example of that versatile defense. Miller switches with Daniel Hamilton on DeCozy.
Coleman for 3. Offensive rebound, Bond, but he can't put it in. Ball is still loose. Coleman wrestles it away from Purvis. And Temple with a fresh shot clock.
I didn't like that shot.
Six minutes to go. Coleman dribbling through the defense, lost it, turned it over. Up ahead is Purvis. Purvis, baseline. Look at the ball movement by UConn, but Hamilton can't get the 3 to drop.
And really, that all started with a bad closeout by Jalen Bond, but they were able to avoid that one, Temple.
Coleman deep 2, in and out. And the rebound to Gibbs.
And I know he's playing well, but I'm not crazy about that shot.
Gibbs sees a lane, and he'll go to the line. Well, as we mentioned, this is the area of the game where Gibbs took over against Tulane on Saturday. 13 of his 16 in the final 6.5 minutes.
And he's been really quiet in this game. I mean, and we've seen Sterling Gibbs take over games for a number of years. Now he's fitting into a new program. There's no doubt about it. But here's an experienced guy who can do things off the dribble. Right now, he can create something.
Gibbs 1 of 5 from the floor. That free throw gives him 6 points. Kevin Ollie said that early on in the season, there was kind of a feeling out process with Gibbs and his new teammates, but he feels comfortable now. And what Kevin Ollie said, Gibbs loves the moment. He's not scared of taking the big shot. Let's see if he has some opportunities down the stretch with a tie game and 5:10 to go. UConn getting it done at the line. They're 11 out of 12.
And normally it's Temple that's the great free throw shooting team.
DeCozy. And the rebound to Hamilton. UConn with numbers if they hurry. Hamilton lobbed it to nobody, but it was knocked out by Dingle. If he didn't touch it, it would have been Temple basketball.
And the thing I don't understand is he was lobbing that to Rodney Purvis. Now, Rodney Purvis is not the most athletic guy in the world. So I think that was a bad play by Daniel Hamilton. They got very lucky there.
Purvis, runner, no good. Tipped up to Brown. Dingle to a cutting DeCozy.
Good help by Sean Miller on that backdoor cut that time.
DeCozy took too many steps. A turnover by Temple. That's number 10 for the Owls.
He switched his pivot foot. Even though I'm not so sure that Fran Dunphy agrees. Let's see what he does here. Oh, yeah.
Good call.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Good call. So back to UConn, still tied as we approach 4 minutes to go. Hamilton, it's good off glass. And he gives UConn the lead by 2.
Now we're really going to find out what Temple's made of. On the road, they've been ahead for so long. Now they lose the lead. They need a good possession here.
In a scoring drought approaching 4 minutes in length. Inside, Bond! And we're tied at 51. Bond in double figures with 11.
That was a really good post feed, but it was an even better positioning by Jalen Bond, using his body to get the defender where he wanted him, so he just had to lay in the basket.
11 points, 10 rebounds, 4th double-double this season for Bond. We're tied again. Five on the shot clock. Miller, straightaway 3 is no good. Each team with 2 timeouts remaining with 3 minutes to go. Hamilton guarding DeCozy. DeCozy calls for a screen. Bond sets it. DeCozy with 9 to shoot. Coleman free throw line extended, drives, lays it in. Tough shot, Devin Coleman.
Great patience that time by Temple. Though that's why they got a good shot there. They moved the ball until the defense broke down and got something really good.
Coleman with 14. Gibbs drives. Lost it, out of bounds to Temple. We're set up with a big finish here in Hartford.
Temple doing the job at the end of this game. A great play there by Jalen Bond. And then Devin Coleman with the shot fake takes it to the basket.
Their last 7, trying to get to 2-0 in the conference and 11-3 overall. What a game. 12 lead changes. Both teams have led by 8.
Interesting that Daniel Dingle is in the game. He was in there crunch time at Cincinnati, too. He does a lot of good things. Not a scorer, but he can help the offense move.
Made some big shots against Cincinnati. Dingle has the ball here. Can he make another big one? Spinning, had it stripped, and it goes out of bounds. And a shot clock violation before it went out of bounds. It's UConn basketball.
Well, really, the ball was in the wrong guy's hands with the shot clock running down. It's either got to be Coleman or DeCozy at this point.
UConn can tie it with a 2, take the lead with a 3. Sterling Gibbs has made a number of big shots in his career. He's on the floor for the Huskies. Hamilton, cold most of the night.
Great help by Jalen Bond there, not letting Hamilton get past DeCozy.
Gibbs for the lead. Won't go, and the rebound fought for, tipped up. Hamilton saves it. Now Purvis left open in the corner. That won't go, and the rebound to Coleman.
That was a pretty good look, but you know, Josh Brown fought so hard. That's what Josh Brown brings to the table. He's a good player, solid. He's had a very good floor game tonight. That was a big-time rebound. He didn't get it, but he went after it so hard.
Fran Dunphy calls timeout to talk things over. 1:10 to go. Dunphy has 1 timeout remaining. If you were in that huddle, what would you be telling your Owls?
You got to get something for DeCozy. Get a pick and roll going with him and Jalen Bond. Connecticut not great at defending the pick and roll. Glenn Miller talked to me about that. That's one of the reasons why they lost those 2 games to Gonzaga and Syracuse. A pick and roll with Quentin DeCozy and Jalen Bond, and get Coleman on that side. So if they help, you got somebody to kick the ball to.
UConn has 2 timeouts remaining. Huskies at 10-3, trying to win their 6th straight game.
And UConn, they've got to know it's coming. They've got to be ready to switch some screens. They could be aggressive because they have the versatile defensive team, and they have to get this rebound. And I would push it. I wouldn't walk it up. I would push the ball up. Some of the best shots they've gotten have been when the game has gotten sped up a little bit. I don't like them in the half court the way they played tonight.
And we were at UConn's practice this morning, and one of the things Kevin Ollie not only told his team, but told us after practice, the next step for our team is to develop a killer mindset, to finish teams at the end of games. They let Tulane back in it with a big lead Saturday. A little bit of a different situation here, trailing by 2, but this is what he thinks his team is missing at this point of the season. They're faced with an opportunity to change that right here.
And really, they have a lot of experienced guys. When you think Sean Miller, Sterling Gibbs, these guys have played a lot.
15 on the shot clock. It's Brown with the ball in his hands to DeCozy with 1 minute to go.
He better start going. He got 6. 5.
DeCozy's hit some deep threes tonight. With 1 to shoot, puts it up, no good. And another shot clock violation against Temple.
What was he doing? He was standing outside. First of all, I don't believe up to you should be using clock. You should be working your offense for the whole. You only got 30 seconds. Use the whole 30 seconds to get yourself a good shot. Instead, Quentin DeCozy is standing outside doing nothing, and UConn didn't even have to work at guarding anybody while he was standing out there doing that. Not a great possession that time by Temple. Right here, he's letting the defense off the hook. Now he's backing it up and ends up getting a force here, which doesn't even make it in time to beat the shot clock.
Strategy for UConn now, Coach. A team that has been struggling from the floor. They have a scoring drought of over 3 minutes, and they're just 1 for their last 8 field goals.
Daniel Hamilton is their playmaker. Forget how he's played in this game. You got to get him the ball in the middle of the floor. Let him try to work on DeCozy. If the help comes, you kick it to a Purvis. You kick it to a Sterling Gibbs. You got to get the ball, I believe, in Daniel Hamilton's hands right now.
Hamilton just 2 for 12 from the floor tonight. 0 of 3 from deep. Does have 8 rebounds. But as you said, he's your guy.
He's your guy, and you just feel like he's the one guy that's capable of, he's big enough, too. He can draw help, kick, he can get in the lane and maybe shoot over somebody. He's not a great three-point shooter, but you want something here going to the basket anyway so that you can get to the foul line, because you're going to be shooting 2 free throws on any foul. Temple's going to have 10 fouls.
UConn will shoot 2 the rest of the way. Meanwhile, the Huskies have committed just 5 fouls here in the second half.
Interestingly enough, right now they're going to have Sterling Gibbs bringing the ball up. They've got Daniel Hamilton off the ball, but I'm sure it's going to try to find its way into his hands at some point in this possession.
How about Kevin Ollie putting Philip Nolan on the floor in crunch time? Only played 2 minutes in the last game. Nolan sets the high screen for Hamilton. Hamilton drives, shot partially blocked, and now a whistle, and it's going against Temple.
I thought Temple gave really, really good help on that possession on Daniel Hamilton, not allowing him to get something off easy.
Foul is on Dingle, and that will send Hamilton to the line to shoot 2.
On the rebound. I don't know, I think that's one they got to let go, but...
A 1-point game with 30 seconds remaining. See just a difference of 0.6 of a second between the game clock and the shot clock. Hamilton ties it, clutch free throws.
Well, Temple's going to hold for the last one. Now you want to stand outside and just dribble. And with 5 seconds to go, start going. Leave yourself enough time to get an offensive rebound. Mind you, UConn is not over the limit when it comes to fouls.
Do have a foul to give. Crowd on its feet. 15 seconds to go in Hartford, and now Fran Dunphy will call his final timeout. Now, if you're UConn, do you give that foul?
Yeah, I think you got to give the foul. I think you give it at a time when somebody's looking to drive the ball. Don't just give it, don't just grab somebody, but tell your guys, if you feel like you're getting beat, foul them on the ground, not on the shot. So I think you want to use that foul, play aggressive defense, but use it for a purpose, not just to foul somebody.
Possession arrow favors UConn with 14.2 seconds remaining.
Me personally, you know DeCozy's going to get the ball here. I would get in his grill so hard and not worry about fouling. Maybe they don't call it. Maybe your aggressive defense forces a turnover and the referee doesn't call it. If he does, the worst thing is they take it out of bounds again.
Brown to inbound. Tried to get it to DeCozy, instead to Bond. Now back to Brown. Brown with 6 seconds. Brown spins at the free throw line. Shot is good! Josh Brown connects. 2 seconds to go. Gibbs from midcourt. It won't go! And Temple steals one on the road.
What a tremendous win for Temple, and to give Josh Brown a lot of credit. He played a super game tonight, an unbelievable first half, a solid second half, and he makes a shot like that to win the game. Tremendous job by Fran Dunphy and the Temple Owls.
11 points for Brown, including the game-winning bucket. And Temple now has road wins over 2 ranked teams in the last week. First it was Cincinnati, and now thanks to this shot from Josh Brown, they beat UConn.
Well, the shot, they wanted to get DeCozy the ball on that flare screen there, and what happened, Sean Miller didn't know if he should help, not help. He probably should have helped. He was guarding Daniel Dingle in the corner. Probably should have given some help on that. And at his size, that would have bothered Josh Brown. But give Josh Brown credit. He makes this shot over Sterling Gibbs. Just a great play.
They never gave the foul they had.
They did not. And you know what? He was driving. That's when you give it. On the floor, you got to give that foul.
Temple improves to 7-6 and 2-1 in conference play. And they've got 2 great wins on their resume now, with wins at Cincinnati and at UConn. Now won 3 straight against the Huskies. Jamie Erdahl is with Fran Dunphy.
All right, Coach, I talked to you at the half. You weren't pleased with the spark that your starters gave you, so you put those original starters back in. So really, in the second half, what was the difference maker?
I thought there was a couple of really big plays by us. I thought when DeCozy missed his jumper in the lane, almost went down, and we missed the 2 foul shots, I was a little worried. Josh Brown making that last basket was good, and DeCozy made some great plays for us. I think those 2 guys, I think our defense was really pretty solid.
I mean, we spoke earlier today about how your team gets up to face ranked teams. What were you able to do defensively, specifically, to contain this UConn team? At times, they looked confused.
Yeah, I'm not so sure they were confused, but I thought our defense was really talkative, very communicative, and that's the way we've got to play. We got to really have great energy, and I thought we did that today.
All right, take me into the huddle on that last play call. Just what were your thoughts there?
Well, first of all, just making sure we got the ball in bounds. We had no timeouts left, so that was a big thing. We're trying to get it to DeCozy. I didn't think he made a great attempt the previous one, but he's a senior. It's his time to shine. But Josh Brown just made a play. That's all it was. I would love you to tell you I drew it up, but it was Josh Brown.
Thank you so much, Coach.
Thanks, Jim.
All right, if we want to talk to Josh Brown right now, we can. Let's just jump on over to the game winner here. Josh, big smile on your face. Coach just talked to us about what was going on in the huddle there, but really from your eyes, what happened?
Before the timeout, I just wanted to take it first off, and I tried to tell Coach, but he wanted to call the timeout to settle us down. He called the play. I knew they was going to stop. I tried to deny our best player, Quentin DeCozy. I saw opening. I just tried to make a play, which I did. I'm glad I made it, man.
Is that a classic Josh Brown move, that spin move back to the left?
Maybe.
But let's go back to the entire game and look at that. You guys had the lead at the half. You're facing a ranked team in conference. What do you feel like was the major difference maker tonight?
We played with a lot of energy. Everybody brought in. Just a collective effort from everyone. Play hard. We played as hard as we can, and we stuck with it. Coaches believed in us. We knew we just had each other, and we just stuck with each other. That's it.
When you were facing a team like UConn, who hits almost 50% from the field, defensively, did you feel like you had to change things up a lot to make sure things stayed in your court?
We just had to stay with it and just try to contest every shot. Hopefully they missed. They missed a couple down the stretch. That was it.
How good does this feel to take it home?
Feels very good.
Thanks, Josh Brown.
Thanks.
Jamie, thank you very much. Fran Dunphy, we asked him this afternoon, What do you think about maybe getting your 200th win at Temple? He had no idea he had 199. Well, now he's got 200. Congratulations to the coach. More to come from Hartford. Once again, the final score, Temple defeats UConn 55-53. The Owls improved to 7-6 on the year.